Hi. One other thing I do for meal prep is I prepare tofu. I buy my tofu locally. There is a weekend market that happens here in my neighborhood, and there's a tofu supplier or soy product supplier that sells tofu, soy milk, and soft tofu. So I'm gonna show you what this one looks like. It's just wrapped in plastic. I bring my own container, and I'll show you what the soy milk looks like. So this entire block is just 50 pesos here in the Philippines, and that's about $1 if you're in the US. Let me get the soy milk. They sell soy milk too, so this is my jar. They sell it in like water bottle containers, which I wouldn't recommend you do. So if you want the details, I'll add it to the description box. But if you ever go, I suggest you bring your own container and then they can refill it for you. So this is also about 50 pesos. No, not about. This is 50 pesos, about 450 ml. And so it's cheaper than buying soy milk at the grocery store. This is the soy milk I use when I make yogurt. I've tried using this with yogurt, but I prefer the way this turns out. This is good for drinking though, good for your smoothies. Okay. So I want to show you what I do when I make scrambled tofu. So I'm probably gonna have that for breakfast tomorrow. I have a tofu press, which I got online. I got this on Amazon from the States, but I'm sure they have tofu presses on Shopee if you check them out if you're in the Philippines. So the first thing that we do, we need to press all the water out of the tofu. And for this recipe, we will need firm tofu. So give me 1 second, let me just weigh this first. Okay, so this is about 420 grams of tofu. And what we'll do is we'll press it with our easy tofu press. I usually do this on the sink, but since I'm making a video, it is gonna be here for you guys to see. So when I buy their tofu, they actually make it on the day of, so they make this in the morning. So it's really, really fresh tofu. If you haven't had fresh tofu or soy milk yet, then you should. It actually tastes very good. You can tell the difference between tofu that's been sitting out and fresh tofu. So what do you do if you don't have a tofu press? Then you can just use a towel, and then I'm sure you've seen some videos on YouTube before. People just use a towel and then they put something heavy over it so that the towel absorbs all of the water. Since this is relatively fresh tofu, there's actually not a lot of water on it. And they don't store it with a lot of water either, so we won't be pressing a lot out of this little block. Okay, so what are we gonna make? We're gonna make scrambled tofu. And for this recipe, we will need some turmeric and some black salt. So this is Himalayan black salt. if you're new to Himalayan black salt, please read up on this. It's a vegan egg seasoning. Do not use a lot because it's gonna make your dish really taste weird. So literally a tiny pinch is enough. Put a tiny pinch, mix it, and taste your dish, and then add a little bit more if you need it. But normally when I use this, I literally just need a tiny pinch. So in this particular packaging, this is Naturally Good. The brand is Naturally Good. It says Tofu Scramble, saute half a tablespoon of garlic onions, add 1 cup crumbled tofu and 1/4 teaspoon turmeric powder, season with black salt and pepper. You can use this as salad dressing, you can use this as I've used this for quiche, vegan quiche, and it really makes your tofu taste like egg, so it's amazing. Okay, my light died on me, so I need to charge it. What we're gonna do, so we already have our tofu, so see, not a lot of water. I didn't get a lot of water from it because it wasn't soaking in water. Take your tofu and crumble it. This is the fun part. And then we're switching to the stove area after this. So just take your block and just crumble it like this. So when I make this, it's really just like cooking any meat. If you're transitioning, it's like season it the way you would season ground pork, I suppose. You can even add it, you can even flavor this here now and then store it in the fridge. So you have ready flavored meat, well, not quite meat, tofu, to use with whatever it is that you're making. It's a good substitute for ground meat, similar to TVP. If you don't have access to TVP, tofu is more easily accessible than TVP in some places. So this is going to be part of my meal prep again this week. I'll show you what I'll do with it now, and then I'll start it in the fridge and I'll just heat it up. And when I heat it up, I can add bok choy or spinach to it for breakfast, or just eat it as is. And I'll also show you the macros and the calories later on. Okay, let's move over to the stove. Alrighty, so we just have a little pan here. I have my black salt, my turmeric, my pink salt for seasoning. Sorry about the shadow. And I also figured I wanted some curry powder in my scrambled egg this week. So we're adding that. Just grab me a spoon. So you can cook this without oil, but I think I want to use some oil for this recipe. Let's do about half a tablespoon, and I'll just use water later if I need any more. Or maybe let's do 1 tablespoon. So for this particular recipe, I am not using any garlic or onion because I'm doing this meditation thing and I've been off garlic, onion, mushrooms, coffee for the last 2 months. So I haven't been using any of those in any of my recipes. But feel free to cook it and season it as you would season regular scrambled eggs. So if you want to add like scallions, shallots, garlic, go ahead and add all of that. If you have like vegan sausages, you want to chop it up and add it to it, go ahead. I've tried this with spinach, with bok choy. It tastes really good. So for now, this is just gonna be plain, and then when I heat it up as I eat it over the week, that's when I'll put in my leafy greens or whatever other add-ons I want with my scrambled tofu. Okay, so this smells like it's already cooking. Let's just saute these. Cook it a little bit until it dries up. Might stick to your pan. And if you don't have any black salt, that's okay. Even with just a turmeric and salt and curry or whatever spices you have at home, that's gonna work too. The black salt really just adds an eggy flavor to it, so we've been using it. Vegans have been using it for quite some time now. So this is the black salt. This is the last thing we're gonna add. Okay, so now let's add some coloring to this. Probably gonna do, I actually normally just eyeball this, but since I'm making a video, I am gonna use my measuring spoon. Let's do 2 teaspoons of turmeric. Sorry, not 2 teaspoons, 1 teaspoon. This is 1/2 teaspoon. So 2 of these makes 1 teaspoon. Oopsies. Well, that's what you get for not measuring before cooking. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. And you're gonna see the color, the tofu is gonna take on the color of the turmeric, starting to look like scrambled eggs. I'm gonna add a little bit more. So the turmeric we use for color and also for flavor. If you're not familiar with turmeric, it's basically just, for us in the Philippines, it's your yellow ginger, orange ginger. I think I'll add 1/2 teaspoon more, and then we should be set. Gosh, it smells so good. Okay, so for this week, I want, lower down the heat. It's actually already good to go. You just need to put some seasoning, salt, pepper, and then you're good. So this week I'm gonna use some curry powder. I don't normally use curry powder, but I felt like using it for this week. So I'm gonna add a teaspoon of curry powder for this particular meal prep. Add some spice too, and some additional flavor. it up. So look at the texture. I didn't add any more water to this. Just make sure you keep stirring it because otherwise it's going to stick to your pan, even if it's non-stick. And then let's add half a teaspoon of pink salt. I'm not gonna season it fully because I'm still gonna cook this. This is part of my meal prep, so I'm still gonna cook this or heat it up in the morning, and then I can add seasoning there. If you are gonna eat this right away, feel free to taste it and season it as you cook it. I'll show you what this looks like later on a plate. And then I'm gonna add a pinch, like literally a pinch. 2 tiny pinches, that's it. Don't go trigger happy. You're gonna smell it, it smells like egg. And this one actually really smells like egg. Already turn off the heat. Great. Okay. So I'm going to transfer this to a plate, let it cool, and then put it in my container so that I can use it for my meal prep. Look at the color. It's so gorgeous. So I want to show you what it looks like on a plate so you can imagine what it would look like when you serve it. Look at this gorgeous color. Look at that. So I'm putting this on a plate to cool. And it looks like scrambled eggs. Gorgeous. Normally I just leave this on the pan to cool and I'd put it in my meal prep containers, but since this is a video for you guys, I decided to put it on a plate. And I figured it's also faster to cool because I already want to sleep.